Hello and welcome to bettingnews.boylesports.com. I'm Nicola McGeady and I'm joined by Leon Blanche to review and preview all the sporting action. Well, the Premier League came to a close yesterday with Chelsea's 8-0 demolition over Wigan. It was the first time they won it since 2006, but I'm sure we have some odds on them to do the double and next year's season.
Yeah, we do. The Premier League doesn't lie. The best team won it and Chelsea are the champions. They're favourites for next year at 6-4. You can back United at 15-8. And interestingly, Man City are 6-1 ahead of Arsenal at 13-2. I think a lot of people now will see Mancini bringing in his own players, but you can get a full list of Premier League prices, of course, on boylesports.com.
OK, now we've seen Rooney hobbling off against Stoke. I'm sure England will have some concerns for the World Cup and indeed Europa League.
I suppose if you're an English fan, it's encouraging to hear Alex Ferguson saying that he thinks he'll make the World Cup no problem, so that's very good. You did mention Fulham. What a remarkable achievement Roy Hodgson has done to get them to a Europa League final. It does look as if Bobby Zamora is not going to make it, which is be a big blow for Fulham. He's been really good in Europe, but Damien Duff has been revitalised, I think, since he's gone back to London, and it looks as if he's going to play. In terms of lifting the Europa League, Fulham are at 5-4. Atletico Madrid are the favourites at 7-4 on to lift the cup, but I think Fulham will have a good chance.
OK, and now moving on to Championship football. Cardiff and Blackpool have the edge. We're going to see some more of that action tomorrow and who will secure the final place for the Premier League. What's the odds looking like?
Yeah, I mean, they were two cracking first leg championship playoffs. 2-1 to Blackpool. They beat Forest, but Forest have a really good home record, as we all know. But the interesting stat here is that Blackpool actually beat Forest at the City Ground during the league. Forest are 8-11, Blackpool 7-2, and the draw at 5-2. And Cardiff, what a brilliant result that was, beating Leicester away from home 1-0. So you'd have to fancy Cardiff going through. Cardiff are even money, Leicester 13-5, and the draw at 9-4. But as we know, these championship playoffs, anything can happen.
OK, now moving away from football, let's talk about the weekend's Grand Prix. Mark Webber became the first driver from pole this season to win from pole this season. Alonso came second, so Spanish fans were very happy with that. Monaco Grand Prix is next weekend, so what are we looking like for the odds?
Yeah, I mean, the Monaco Grand Prix probably has all the glam, you know, and the glitz that you would associate with a Grand Prix, especially being in Monaco. Rightly said, Mark Webber. I think it was his first Grand Prix victory in over 200 attempts, so congratulations to him. Jenson Button, he actually won the Monaco Grand Prix last year. He's still on top of the Drivers' Championship, and he's 8-1 to be crowned champion driver again this year, but it's all to play for.
Well, there's been plenty of classic trials now in horse racing. There was like the Lingfield, Leopardstown. You were at a lot of these meetings. Who shined for you and who's to watch?
Yeah, well, I think if we started with the most recent one at Leopardstown yesterday, Midas Touch probably has got the Aidan O'Brien team back on form. It was the quickest clock in over 20 years, so that's certainly impressive. He was clipped into 12-1 for the Derby, but I think it gives his stable companion Jan Vermeer, who actually beat the horse twice last year. Interesting to hear what Aidan O'Brien said yesterday after racing, that the French Derby is looking like a possibility for Jan Vermeer, and that's probably where that one's going to go. St. Nicholas Abbey, he said, don't lose your confidence just yet. He's the 5-2 favourite for the Derby. Of the rest of the trials, looking at Chester, Asmeal was impressive under Frankie Dettori. He's now 16-1 from 25-1, but there's a direct form line for Shabal, who actually beat Asmeal at Sandown. Shabal, of course, used to be trained by Jim Bulger as a 2-year-old. He's now with Godolphin as a 3-year-old. He'll be lining up at the Dante meeting in York, which kicks off on Wednesday. So I think a lot of people will be interested to see how he actually runs. We clipped him into 12-1 on the back of Asmeal winning, which franks the form. So it's all to play for. Looking at the Oaks, we had an odds-on favourite beaten, trained by Henry Cecil, Timepiece, at Lingfield on Saturday. We pushed her out now to a 10-1 chance, and I think almost by default the Marcus Tregonning filly Ramouche is now being pushed up to the head of the market. She finished 7th in the 1,000 guineas, but she was drawn in 18 on rain softened ground, so I think you can rule out that run. And Marcus Tregonning is very bullish. He said it's all systems now towards Epsom. The Jim Bulger filly, many expected Gil Negrena to take her chance in the Musidora at York on Wednesday, but she won't. She's going to bypass that race for the Irish 1,000 guineas. She was a fast finishing third in the English guineas, so I think Bulger likes this one an awful lot. She's related to last year's runner Lush Lashes, so I think she's going to have a big future ahead of her. But classic trials are what they are. They are trials, and we learn a lot more after this week's meeting at York.
Yeah, well, you will be there at York, so I'm sure we'll have plenty more from you then, okay? Thanks very much.